is this Srimad-Bhagavatam? It is the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. Anybody listens to this Katha with sincerity, with focus, with dedication, by the end you will find that your devotion has grown and you have enhanced your wisdom and detachment. It is inevitable. That is the power of the Srimad-Bhagavat Mahapuran. In all the Vedic scriptures, the position of the Srimad-Bhagavat Mahapuran is considered supreme. It is a veritable ocean of divine love and divine knowledge. So when we listen to the Katha from the Srimad-Bhagavat, we wish to imbibe that divine knowledge and fill our hearts with devotion. Before we delve into the Katha, the tradition is to hear the Mahatmya, the importance of a scripture. And this is very relevant. If you have been to the holy places of pilgrimage in India, the Pandit of the Dham tells you the importance of the place where you have come. Because when you keep that importance in your intellect, you are able to get much more in terms of devotional sentiments. And that is why the Srimad-Bhagavat-Katha is usually begun with the Mahatmya. There is a story in the Puranas about the Amar Katha. Once, Vamdev Maharaj, the guru of Parvati, he came up to Parvati and said, "Your husband Shiv has got this mundamal. He wears a garland of people's heads around his neck. Do you know whose heads does he wear?" Parvati said, "No, Gurudev." "Why have you not tried to find out? It is of no concern to me." Gurudev said, "It's of no concern to you. They are the heads, the skeleton heads of women. And your husband is holding them so close to his heart. Isn't it important for you to know whose heads they are?" Gurudev awoke the womanly ire in Parvati. She went up to Lord Shiv and said, "My dear husband, whose heads do you have in your garland?" Lord Shiv said, "Parvati, let it be." No, you have to tell me. "Let it be." "No, you need to tell me." Lord Shiv said, "How does it matter to you?" Parvati said, "How does it matter, you say? You are holding the heads of these women all around you and you say it doesn't matter to me." When Lord Shiv discovered that Parvati will not take no for an answer, he said, "Listen, these are your heads from your previous lifetimes." Parvati said, "What?" "Yes, I love you so much that each time you leave your body, out of my attachment to you, I preserve your head. And with those heads, I have created this garland. Parvati was impressed by the love of Lordship for her. But she asked a question. She said, my dear husband, I repeatedly leave my body and you don't. Why is that so? Lordship said, because I have the Katha. Parvati said, if you have it, why don't you give it to me as well? The Katha that bestows immortality. So Lordship, he consented. He said, all right, but nobody else should hear it. So he was in Kailash. He clapped. All the creatures in Kailash understood the desire of Lordship and they all vacated. Now, Lordship sat on the Vyasasana and Parvati sat below. Lordship said, look, when I start relating the Katha, I will go into Samadhi, a divine trance. Just to keep myself conscious, I need to hear some kind of consent from you. So you keep on filling the Omkar. Yes. So I will be aware that the listener is there and I will keep speaking. So Parvati agreed. Lordship, he started relating the Katha. And Parvati was listening, absorbed. And she was saying, yes, wow, ooh, so wonderful. Lordship was continuing. Now, apparently unknown to both of them, there was the egg of a parrot. That egg hatched at the same time when Lordship began the Katha. And the little baby parrot that emerged also kept on hearing the whole Katha. The problem arose when Lord Shiv went into the 11th canto. It was all Brahma Gyan, deep and erudite knowledge of the Vedic scriptures. So Parvati found that a little difficult and burdensome on the intellect. She fell asleep. The parrot in the meantime had gotten enchanted in the Katha. Now Parvati stopped doing the Omkar. The parrot thought that if Lord Shiv doesn't hear the he will stop. The parrot started filling in. Acha, very good. And Lord Shiv continued. Now towards the end, when Lord Shiv was wrapping up the Katha, Parvati woke up. And she said, Maharaj, you said that Krishna imparted divine knowledge to Uddhav. And after that, what happened? Lord Shiv said, Parvati, I explained it to you, you did not hear. Did you go to sleep? Parvati accepted. I did fall asleep. I am sorry for that. Lord Shiv said that who was filling the hookah? They found out the little parrot sitting there. Now in acting as a Leela, Shankarji displayed divine fury. He picked up his Trishul, the trident, and went after the parrot. The parrot fled in fear. It went here, went there, and reached the ashram of Ved Vyas. There, Ved Vyas's wife, the parrot entered through her mouth and sat down in her room. The Lord Shiv followed with the trident. And he came to Vedas. So Vedas said, Umapati Mahadev, what is the matter? Why are you here? Lordship said, I am searching for a parrot. I have to kill him. Vedas said, what is his crime? The crime is that he has heard the Katha without my permission. So I cannot leave him now. Vedas said, Maharaj, if he has heard the Katha, the tale of immortality, then he has become Amar, immortal. How can you kill him? Oh, Lordship had to accept that now I can't do anything. He returned. That parrot was then born as the great Shukadev, the speaker of the Srimad-Bhagavat Mahaprana. There is another Mahatmya of the Srimad-Bhagavat that is written by Vedas himself in the Padma Purana. Once, the sage Narad was going in Badrikashram and he met the four Kumars, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanat, Sanandan. These four Kumars saw sorrow and misery on the face of Narad. They said, Devarshi, sage of the celestial gods, what is the matter? Sorrow on the face of a saint does not seem appropriate. Sada Diwali Santiki aankho prahar anand. Narad said, O great sages, I am not miserable for myself, but for what I have seen. I had visited the planet Earth. I went to the holy places in India. And I found a lot of hypocrisy going on, a lot of deceit and cheating in the name of dharma and religion. It made me feel extremely frustrated. And then I reached Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, I found a young lady. By her side were two old men. I asked that young lady, who are you and why are you unhappy? She said, I am Bhakti Devi. I am devotion personified. My two children that you see, they are Jnana and Vairagya, knowledge and detachment, renunciation. They are the children of Bhakti. The Narad said, how come your children seem so much elder to you? Bhakti Devi said, that is my sorrow. And Bhakti Devi, devotion personified, related her story. She said, I was born in Dravid Desh in Tamil Nadu. You see, in this age of Kali, the first Bhakti saints to come were the Alvars. The Tamilians will tell you. So these Alvars, they propounded and propagated Bhakti. So Bhakti says, I was born in Tamil Nadu. I spent my childhood in Kannada Desh, Karnataka. Subsequently, historically, there were Bhakti saints in the state of Karnataka, like Raghavendra Swami, like Kanakadas, Purandardas, etc. So she said, I spent my childhood there, and in my youth, I came to Gujarat. And out there I became old. And my children, Gyan and Vairagya, also became old. She is signifying that Gujaratis are really not too fond of Gyan and Vairagya. Bhakti is alright. So she says, from there I came to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, I became Yuvati. I became young again. But my children are still old. The Brajbasis are also not too fond of Jnana and Vairagya, it seems. So Bhakti Devi said that this is the cause of my sorrows. Do you have any solution for me? Narad was pondering over the solution when there was an Akashvani, a voice from the sky, do Sat Karma, do some pious deeds. And Narad thought, what Sat Karma should I do? He decided to do Ved part. Now when he did the Ved part, Jnana and Vairagya, they became young and they stood up with energy and enthusiasm. But the moment the Ved part stopped, Jnana and Vairagya became old again. Again Naradji started, they grew young. Again when he stopped, again they became old. Like a tire being inflated and deflated. Narad was bewildered and frustrated. So Narad said, I have been looking for a solution to the problems of Bhakti Devi. And that is why I have now come to Badrikashram where I have met you four. The four Kumars said, Naradji, we will tell you the solution. The Sat Karma that is required to rejuvenate Jnana and Vairagya, knowledge and renunciation, tapasya, austerity, along with bhakti, devotion, is the Srimad-Bhagavat-Katha. Do an ayojan, an organization of this Katha. Narad said, I am a Baba. I don't have any money. How will I organize the Bhagavad Katha? Where will I get a hall for rental, etc.? The four Kumars said, don't you worry. Between Badrikashram and Haridwar, there is a place called Onams. There is a huge tree by the banks of the river Ganga. So you don't need any roof. The Katha will be under the tree. There is no need to arrange for water. The Ganga is right there. Naradji obeyed their guidelines. He arranged for the Katha at the banks of the river Ganga, upstream of Haridwar. The four Kumars said, make asanas for everybody and a special asana for bhakti, for Jnana and for Vairagya. Now, Sanat Kumar became the Vyas and Narad was the Shrota. Narad was the listener. The Katha continued. Towards the end of the Katha, Bhakti Devi manifested along with Jnana and Vairagya. So Bhakti said, where should I sit? Narad said, I had kept a seat for you, but my request is, sit in the hearts of all the listeners. So Bhakti sat in the hearts of the listeners, and then the great celestial gods manifested, and Lord Krishna also manifested. They all danced and celebrated. So Sanat Kumar said, look Naradji, that is the power of the Srimad-Bhagavat-Katha. We need to consider that plausible if with sincerity, with focus, with dedication, anybody listens to this Katha for 7 days. It is inevitable. By the end you will find that your devotion has grown and you have enhanced your wisdom and detachment. So that is the Mahima, the Mahatma of the Srimad-Bhagavat Mahapuran. Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj says, Vandaniya hai Upanishad, inme jnana mahan. The Upanishads are a part of the Vedas. They are praiseworthy. We offer our respects to them. Shama prema binu jnana so pranaheen tanujan. However, there is one thing in the Bhagavad which even the Upanishads do not have, and that is Sham Prem, love for the Supreme Lord. So, let us now, having heard the importance of the Granth, without any further delay, delve into it. In the very beginning, Vedas, who is the writer, does the Mangala Charan, the auspicious invocation. Jalmadyasya tonmayati tarataschaर्थेष्व भिज्ञस्वराट तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारि मृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो वृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. The first verse of the first chapter of the first canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Vedas says that Supreme Lord from whom this whole creation emanates, within whom the creation exists, into whom creation shall merge one day. You see, sometimes people ask me, Swamiji, my child asked me for a definition of God. Can you please define God? Vedas has defined God in the beginning of this verse itself. God is He from whom this world is emanated. And He says that Lord, whose material energy, Maya, creates such an illusion that the temporary appears to be the eternal appears to be temporary. And that Lord who spoke the Vedants in the heart of the firstborn Brahma, Satyam Param Dhimahi, I offer my respects to that Satyam. Do note, Vedas took no name of God. He did not mention Krishna in this first verse, nor Ram, nor Shiv, nor Durga. He knew if he had mentioned Krishna, then the Shaivites would have said it's not for us, it's for the Vaishnavas. If he had mentioned Shiv, then the Vaishnavites would have said, Shiv is there, it is not for us. If he had mentioned Durga, apart from the Shaks, the Shaiv and Vaishnavites would have said it's not for us. So he is just referring to God as Satya. Satya means the absolute, the supreme absolute truth. Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Jasatye Satyasya Satyamita Satyanetram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. He says, I offer my respects to that Param Satya. Having said that, in the second verse, he talks about what he is going to write in this scripture. So he says, Dharma prochita kaitamotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam mastavamatramastu shivadam tapatrayon muladam Srimad-Bhagavate Mahamunikrite Kimva Parairishvaraha Sapyoritya Varudyate Prakritibhi Shushrushuvistaksharat. He says, in this Srimad-Bhagavat Mahapuran, I am going to describe Kaitav Rahit Dharma. Kaitav Rahit, devoid of any propensity to cheat. What is cheating? Just yesterday, I was in Chicago. One teenage girl, she came up to me. She said, Swamiji, I have a question. I was having my dinner. I said, go ahead. She said, when I pray to God, and I pray, my Lord, please help me in my studies that I will get good numbers, I feel that there is something wrong. I'm cheating. I'm engaging in devotion and wanting something in return. I said to the people sitting around me, look at this girl. The purity of her heart, although she is a teenager, that intuitively she is realizing, if I am engaging in devotion to get something, this is not real devotion. That is cheating. So Vedas says in so many Puranas, I described devotion motivated by material desires. Sukha sampatti ghara aave kashta mite tanaka. Now in this, I am going to describe kaitav rahit dharma. In other words, pure, selfless, unalloyed, nishkam bhakti. There in the third verse, he explains the importance of the Bhagavad Mahapurana. He says, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Shukamukha dramita drama sahiyutam Murahor rasika bhuvi bhavaka Pibata Bhagavatam rasamalayam. He says, what is this Srimad-Bhagavatam? It is the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. The Vedas, he compares to a kalpa vriksha. The kalpa vriksha is the wish-fulfilling tree. Now, what is the best portion of the tree? Obviously, its fruit. He says the fruit of the kalpa vriksha of the Vedas is the Srimad-Bhagavat Mahapurana. And it is such a fruit that has got ripened on the tree. See, nowadays, that is very rare. Fruits are prematurely broken and they are ripened in godowns with carbide powder. Right? But the fruit that ripened with the ras, the nectar of the tree, is definitely the sweetest. So Vedas says it is rasamalayam. Rasamalay, where the place that is full of knowledge is Vidyalay, full of Vidya. And Rasamalay is full of Ras. Vedas says this Bhagavat is such a fruit that the divine parrot, Shukadev, he tasted it. The parrot has programmed genes that enable it to find out which fruit on the tree is the sweetest. You know, once when I had just taken sannyas, I used to travel around by myself. So I was walking on the road in Kanpur, and there was a person selling grapes. He had 100 bunches in front of him. So I came up to him, I said, how much is it? And he said, so I looked at them all and picked out one. He said, Babaji, aapko maan liya. You have picked out the sweetest bunch in the whole lot. I said, you know, the sweetness can be judged. from the color, the texture, etc. of the fruit. Now the parrot has that enhanced ability. So the parrot picks out the sweetest fruit. Vedas says, Shukadev parrot has tasted the Bhagavatam, and from there it has come down to us all. So Pivata Bhagavatam, dear devotees, drink this fruit. You may say, how will I drink the fruit? The fruit is to be eaten. Vedas says it is not such a fruit that has the seed, the fiber, or the skin. It is sheer ras, pure bliss, divine bliss of devotion. So drink it, not with your mouth, with your ears, and drown in the ocean of bhakti. Having said that, Mangalacharan, Ved Vyas then proceeds to the first episode.